We'll start with the ones that are promising and work our way up to the planets most likely to have aliens. Proxima Centauri b. Proxima Centauri b is the closest exoplanet to Earth, orbiting Proxima Centauri, the nearest star to our Sun at just 4.2 light-years away. That sounds close until you realize a spacecraft traveling at our current speeds would take about 70,000 years to get there, so don't book your ticket just yet. What makes this planet genuinely exciting is that it sits inside the habitable zone of its star, meaning temperatures could theoretically allow liquid water to exist on the surface. The estimated surface temperatures range from about -40 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius depending on location, which is honestly pretty reasonable. However, there's a major catch. Proxima Centauri is a red dwarf star, and red dwarfs are extremely violent. They blast out massive solar flares constantly, and because Proxima Centauri b orbits much closer to its star than Earth does to the Sun, the planet gets hammered with intense ultraviolet and X-ray radiation. We're talking radiation levels that could be anywhere from 60 to 100 times what Earth receives during a solar flare event. If there are any aliens there, they would either be living deep beneath the surface, or they just have a thick atmosphere acting as a radiation shield. Scientists are also unsure whether the planet is tidally locked, meaning one side permanently faces the star in scorching heat, while the other sits in permanent frozen darkness. If it is, life would most likely exist in the narrow twilight band between those two extremes. Gliese 581d. Gliese 581d orbits a red dwarf about 20 light-years away, and was one of the earliest exoplanets to generate serious scientific debate about habitability. It's estimated to be around 7 times the mass of Earth, putting it in the category of super-Earths. Earlier research suggested it sat comfortably in the habitable zone of its star. However, later studies raised questions about whether it even exists as a distinct planet, or whether the signals detected were actually caused by stellar activity. So basically, this planet may not even exist. If it does exist, though, and has an atmosphere, climate models suggest a thick carbon dioxide atmosphere could create a strong enough greenhouse effect to keep surface temperatures above freezing. The gravity would be significantly stronger than Earth's due to its size, meaning any aliens living there would likely be built very low to the ground, compact and dense. Tall, spindly creatures wouldn't survive long under that kind of gravitational pressure. Kepler 283c. Kepler 283c is a super-Earth about 1,750 light-years from us, sitting on the inner edge of its star's habitable zone. Its year lasts only about 92 Earth days. The fact that it's on the inner edge of the habitable zone means it gets more stellar radiation than Earth does, but not necessarily enough to make it uninhabitable. Scientists estimate surface temperatures would likely be quite warm on this planet. With a mass estimated about 3 to 4 times Earth's, the gravity would be noticeably heavier. Combined with the denser atmosphere that such a planet would likely retain, you'd feel physically weighed down just walking around. If there are aliens here, they would have had to evolve for heat and pressure tolerance. Kepler 186f. Kepler 186f is probably one of the most talked about Earth-like candidates ever discovered. It's roughly Earth-sized, orbiting a red dwarf about 582 light-years away, and it sits in the outer edge of the habitable zone. Being on the outer edge means it receives significantly less energy from its star than Earth gets from the Sun, somewhere around 1/3. This would make it a cold world, similar in some ways to a really cold version of Earth. Liquid water could still exist, but only with the help of greenhouse gases in its atmosphere to trap enough heat. The planet is close in size to Earth, so gravity would be comfortable and familiar. The biggest unknown is what kind of atmosphere it has. With the right atmosphere, it becomes one of the most hospitable candidates for aliens we know of. Gliese 667cc. Gliese 667cc orbits one star in a triple star system about 23 light-years away. Just the idea of having 3 suns in your sky is incredible. It's a super-Earth sitting near the center of its habitable zone, which is about as good a position as you can ask for. It receives about 90% of the energy Earth gets from the Sun, which puts it in a really comfortable range thermally. However, being in a multi-star system introduces complications. Gravitational interactions and radiation from multiple stellar bodies could affect the planet's orbit and atmospheric stability over long timescales. There's also the issue of stellar flares again, since one of its companion stars is a red dwarf. That said, Gliese 667cc is still considered one of the stronger habitability candidates based on its size, mass, and position. And if it has liquid water, it probably has aliens. TRAPPIST-1e. The TRAPPIST-1 system is arguably the most exciting group of planets discovered in the hunt for extraterrestrial life. There are 7 planets orbiting TRAPPIST-1, and 3 of them fall in the habitable zone. TRAPPIST-1e is considered the best of the 3. It's almost identical in size to Earth and receives roughly 66% of the energy Earth gets from the Sun. Climate models suggest that with a moderate atmosphere, TRAPPIST-1e could support surface temperatures close to Earth's. The planet is about 40 light-years away and orbits its star in just 6 days, meaning its year is extremely short. It's also likely tidally locked, which brings the same challenges as Proxima Centauri b. But because TRAPPIST-1e is a strong candidate for having an atmosphere, the heat redistribution between its day and night sides could be enough to create stable, habitable conditions for aliens. LHS-1140b. LHS-1140b is a rocky super-Earth about 41 light-years away, and it's a genuinely solid contender for alien life. It orbits in the middle of its star's habitable zone and is about 1.4 times the size of Earth. What makes it particularly promising is that its host star doesn't produce many intense flares like most other red dwarf stars do. This significantly improves the chances of a stable atmosphere surviving over billions of years. The planet receives about 43% of Earth's solar energy, which makes it cold but potentially manageable with a thick enough atmosphere. Some models have actually proposed that it could possibly even be covered by a large ocean. In 2023, James Webb Space Telescope observations began narrowing down its atmospheric properties, making this one of the most actively studied habitability candidates right now. Kepler-62e. Kepler-62e is about 1,200 light-years from us, and about 1.6 times Earth size. It's larger but not so massive that it would become a gas planet. Scientists have modeled it as a potential ocean world, covered almost entirely by water with no exposed continents. This is actually an interesting environment for life because Earth's oceans are teeming with organisms despite having no land anywhere in sight. The challenge is that without continents and geological cycling, the chemistry of the water could become very different from what we're used to. Still, a planet-wide ocean sitting in the habitable zone is a good sign for potential alien life, and Kepler-62e remains one of the more credible candidates on this list. Kepler-62f. Kepler-62f is the outer sibling of Kepler-62e in the same system, slightly smaller and colder. It sits near the outer edge of the habitable zone and receives only about 41% of Earth's solar energy. Without a strong greenhouse effect from an atmosphere rich in carbon dioxide, it would likely be frozen over. However, models have shown that under the right atmospheric conditions, liquid water could exist seasonally, or in regions near the equator. Kepler-62f is about 1.4 times Earth size, which means it has more Earth-like gravity. The same ocean world scenario like Kepler-62e is also a possibility here too, meaning the possibility of some form of alien life is very real. Kepler-442b. Kepler-442b is about 1,206 light-years away and is widely considered one of the most Earth-like planets ever found in terms of habitability scoring. It's roughly 1.3 times the size of Earth, sits comfortably in the middle of its habitable zone, and receives about 70% of Earth's solar energy. Those numbers are remarkably close to ideal. The Earth Similarity Index, which rates how closely a planet matches Earth's conditions, puts Kepler-442b at around 0.84 out of 1.0, making it an extremely likely planet for aliens to exist. If it has a rocky surface and a decent atmosphere, which both seem plausible given its size, Kepler-442b checks almost every box for habitability. Out of everything on this list, it's probably the one scientists would most want a telescope pointed at permanently. Although no concrete evidence supports the idea that alien life lives there, I like to think it probably does. If you liked this video, subscribe for similar ones. Thanks for watching.